resources, inspiring interviews, business practices, and practical advice to take your art career to the next level. Join Sergio Gomez in today's Artist Next Level and get ready to take control of your career.
Hello, my Next Level friends. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Art Next Level podcast. And today I want to share with you my experience during Art Basel Miami Week 2018. I just got back. I was there last week for Art Basel. And I want to tell you a little bit about that. And I want to share with you a conversation I had during Art Basel with art expert Ruth Crnkovich. We had a great conversation. We did a little video for my Breakfast with Sergio show. And I want to share it with you here as well, in case you have missed it. But I don't know how many of you know, but I have a show that's called Breakfast with Sergio, which you can watch in YouTube. You can just search for Breakfast with Sergio. You can also watch it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday live on Facebook, on my Facebook page. You can also find it on my Instagram at Sergio Gomez Project. So if you haven't seen that yet, check it out. And I also have it as a podcast. There's a podcast dedicated to Breakfast with Sergio, which you can access at any time. Well, my friends, I want to tell you a little bit about Art Basel Miami Week 2018. It was a great experience. One of the reasons I go there every year is because I really want to see what's going on in the art market, see what's selling, what's not, what galleries are showing. It's really an opportunity to go to a place where there's a lot of galleries from around the world. Just Art Basel itself has around 200 galleries that gather there, and there's about 80,000 people that come and check out Art Basel every year. Now, for those of you who may not be very familiar, Art Basel itself, which also happens in Switzerland, Art Basel Switzerland, and this is the American edition, Art Basel Miami, happens in Miami Beach at the convention center. It's an annual international art fair where the top galleries around the world come in with the hopes to sell their work to major collectors who come from all over the world as well for that week. But Art Basel is not the only fair in town. Actually, Art Basel is the biggest one, and all around both Miami Beach area, downtown Miami, Wynwood area, and everywhere else in between, there are another, I would say, depends on the year, about 15 more art fairs of all kinds, of all sizes, or with all different kind of focuses. Depends on what fair you may visit. And it's really fun. It's really fun. There's really a lot of art, a lot to see during that week. And that's why I enjoy going every year. I go there for multiple reasons. One, like I mentioned, to see what's happening in the art world, to see what galleries are bringing, what galleries are selling, to see what artists are making too. It's a great opportunity to get a quick look at what artists are making, because you have the art fairs like, for example, Art Basel, Art Miami, Context, which are exclusively for galleries. Galleries are the only ones who can select what artists to bring, but you also have other art fairs, other smaller art fairs, where artists themselves, can form groups and, participate, or they can do solo projects and so on. So there's really a great opportunity to see, what art is being made from the works that you see in Art Basel, the multi-million-dollar works, by Gerhard Richter or Jeff Koons, or some of the big, brand names in the art world. Or you can also find, a whole variety of work, even experimental art, video, and so on, in some of the other fairs directly from artists as well. So it is very interesting. Another reason I like to attend Art Basel every week is because I like the network part of it. It's so easy to network, to meet other people in the art world. You will meet other artists that will come and gather from all over the world. You will meet also people that may be just lovers of art, that they're coming to see the shows. You can be sitting on a cafe and, right next to you maybe an art dealer or a gallerist or a gallery attendant or a curator. There are a lot of events happening all throughout the week in which you have opportunities to sit down with other, artists and other people in the art industry. You will have For example, there are art discussions, there are talks, there are tours of different collections, there are all kinds of wonderful programming around Art Basel. So it's not just the selling part. I mean, selling part is big. That's why galleries are coming here to do that. However, there's a lot of programming around it, which is very interesting, and you have really great opportunities to network and meet others. Also, another reason I like to go is because the local galleries and museums put really fabulous shows during the week. Also, a lot of the big art collections that are in Miami open their doors to the public. Sometimes they have tours or they have special events where you can go and see those collections, which otherwise may be closed, other times of the year, but they make it a point to open them for public viewing. And it is a really, really great way to kind of see that and to see what's happening there as well. Another awesome, fabulous thing about, going to Art Basel that I really love is that, well, it is hot, it is warm. And if you are in Chicago like me, or if you're in any cold city around December time, any opportunity to go to Miami is a good one, doesn't matter what that is. So that's always a bonus, just going there for that. But, it's also a great opportunity as an artist to go and see what galleries may interest you on a personal level, galleries that you may want to approach, may want to talk to, or may want to follow up later with. This is a great opportunity to see that at different levels throughout all the different fairs. So it is really an opportunity that happens once a year, and I always make it a point to go. So in this episode, my friend, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you two things. One is I'm going to share with you my conversation with art expert Ruth Crnkovich. We talk about, Art Basel 2018 edition, how it has changed over the years. I am also going to share with you a Breakfast with Sergio episode where I talk about how to do Art Basel Miami Week on the cheap, on a tight budget. So if this is something that you may want to do for the future, maybe you listen to this episode and now you're curious, say, well, I really want to go. I want to see what this is all about, but I don't have, a lot of money to spend in Miami. Well, you don't want to miss, the interview the episode I'm going to share with you also here following Ruth's episode about how to go to Miami Art Basel Week with a tight budget. Kind of a lot of tips that you can use to go there for cheap and don't spend a lot of money. So I hope you enjoy them. So here's my first episode interview here with Ruth Crnkovich. Good to see you. How are you?
Good to see you.
Doing awesome. We are here in Miami right now, enjoying this beautiful weather. We are pretty much outside here in the lounge of Art Miami, having a great time. So, Ruth, how you been today?
Well, I've actually been taking a little easy today. I've been here since Monday.
Okay.
On the go, so I'm enjoying my time visiting with you and Janina and catching up with friends.
Very cool. So tell us a little bit about yourself, because a lot of our friends don't know what you do. So we know each other for many years, and in all those years you have done all kinds of things. So tell us a little bit about what is it that you do.
I am an art advisor and appraiser, working with collectors who are buying, selling, authenticating, and other sorts of issues with art. That's what I help them with. I advise them on valuations.
And you have worked with museums, you have done also writing for artists, you have done reviews, critiques, you have done all kinds of things. I think your list is very long.
It is. I have a lot to say about art. I enjoy it.
That's right.
I enjoy it. So yeah, I have a museum curator background prior to my appraisal business that evolved itself into an advisory and appraisal.
Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about expectations. What are our expectations when coming to Art, to Art Miami or any other of the fairs? Not only in Miami here, but anywhere else. But what are the expectations? Because you've been coming here for many years. We were talking about this right before we started recording. Maybe for over 10 years, you've been coming year after year.
At least 10.
And you come for business. And how have you seen the fairs, evolving over the years?
Well, it's been an interesting ride, especially with the satellite fairs, because early on there were not that many. There were maybe 4 or 5, 6. on a deserted street. And
Yeah.
only one street was safe in that whole neighborhood, and we were not to leave the block.
Yeah.
And and
Now-
that was it. That was the entire extent of the
Right.
satellite fairs. And Basel was probably selling $500,000 to $2 million items. You know, that was kind of the market for that particular fair at that time.
Yeah.
And there were lots of parties
Yeah.
on
Right.
Collins. There was a party in every location you could
Right.
imagine.
Right.
And curators came here to meet with donors and trustees of museums. Schools came with students. Advisors came with clients. And it was very much an industry type of event. But it has certainly evolved.
It has evolved, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are the expectations that people should have? And I think it depends also on who you are, right? If you're an artist, you know, what you're expecting to see. If you are a collector, what you're expecting to see.
Well, I think it's important that artists see art fairs because it really helps to have those visual conversations with other people's expressions of art. I think it helps expand one's vocabulary, even if it doesn't influence you visually. You know, you do communicate with those things that you see. So I think it's very important for artists to come to these types of events. But it's also important for collectors and people who are interested in supporting the arts to attend these satellite fairs, to support living artists, practicing artists, who have, most of the artists that you see at these two fairs, Art Miami and Art Context, are professional artists. That's how they make a living. And their work is in museums, they're actively creating, and they're having their lives unfold in front of them.
Right.
So it's a great opportunity. And a lot of the artists are here. A lot of the creators of the art are in these buildings.
Working around, yeah.
So it's a great opportunity for artists and collectors alike, because the works are priced a little more reasonably than Basel.
Right. So this year, this is 2018, and we are kind of finishing the year, and we came to Art Basel here. So what are some of the things that kind of are highlights for you this year, or some of the fairs that you kind of enjoy visiting, or some of the booths that you enjoy visiting this year?
Well, you know, Basel looks pretty fabulous this year.
Okay.
And I think fabulous is the word. I mean, it is shiny, it is sparkly, it is radiating light.
Okay.
There are some just beautiful, beautiful pieces of art. They're just dazzling. It really is a spectacular show this year. Definitely the most interesting I've seen in a long time.
Okay.
A little more diverse too.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of a stronger South American show of galleries. A lot of European galleries. A lot more European galleries.
Okay.
But it's a beautiful show, and if you want to see museum quality artwork, it's the place to go, because some of these pieces will remain in private collection, and this is your only chance to see these artworks. If they sell at the show, you'll never see them again in your lifetime.
Right.
So
Exactly.
it's important to support these types of events. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Ruth. Thank you for joining us here for the quick chat before we continue our journey and our walk through the fair. So thanks so much, and I hope you have a great time.
Yeah, you too.
Awesome. Thank you, friends.
Wear
See you later.
sneakers. Wear your sneakers.
That's right. See you later. All right, my friend, I hope you enjoyed that quick interview there with my good conversation with Ruth Crnkovich. Now I want to share with you in the next part here my breakfast with Sergio about how to go to Art Basel Miami Week on a tight budget. So my friend, today I want to talk a little bit about how to do Art Basel Miami Week on a tight budget, because maybe this is something that you want to do. Maybe you have heard me talking about it. Maybe you saw my previous episode, and if you haven't, check it out, where I talk about why I make a point in my calendar to go to Art Basel Miami every single year. So if this is something you want to do, maybe you have never done before, or maybe you have done it but it was too expensive and you want kind of some tips on how you do it on the cheap, on the budget, well, I want to give you some pointers. Well, first thing you got to do, my friend, is you got to plan ahead. You really have to plan early on. You got to decide right now If this is something you want to do next December, put it in your schedule. Put it in your schedule. So this is something that I have already decided I'm going to do. So it's already on the schedule. I'm waiting for the exact dates of when Art Basel Miami Week 2019 will be. And that's what it's already on my mind. Next thing you want to do, of course, if you are close by, of course, you can drive or you can carpool with someone. But if you need to fly, one option that I have for you is download the app that's called Hopper, Hopper, Hopper. And the app called Hopper, what you can do is you can put the dates you want to go, and it will be always looking for the best prices. So you will get a notification when the app thinks this is the best price you do not want to miss, and that's when you want to book your ticket. Another option you have is to look at bundle packages. For example, Expedia has bundle packages, and many other websites too, where you get cheaper rate if you book both the flight along with the hotel together, which is an option. You can stay in a hotel. There are many hotels in Miami, tons of them, but you gotta reserve early on if you want to get the best prices. Now, also, if you don't want to, if maybe hotel is a little bit too much of an expense for you, and if you're really looking for a really tight budget planning for you for Miami, then what I recommend is do an Airbnb. And this is something I have done before with other artists. Say, hey, I'm going to go to Miami, who wants to join me in an Airbnb? And then maybe 2 or 3 we get together, we find an Airbnb that has space for all of us, and then we book it ahead of time. And, that is also really, really convenient. Now, if you really are tight on budget, you can always do a hostel. There's a number of hostels right on Miami, actually in Miami Beach area. There's one at least where you can also stay if you don't mind staying at a hostel. But the cool thing about Airbnb, which I like, is a lot of times you meet other people that also have come for the fairs, and so you get there, and not only is you, but you also meet other people, which could be other artists from other parts of the world, galleries, and so on, who may be staying also in the Airbnb. So that is pretty cool. In my experience, I have always met people when I stay on Airbnb who are part of the of the Art Basel thing. So that's another option you have. So that gives you a tight place to stay and safe, on a tight budget. Now, when it comes to location, where Art Basel happens in the convention center, that's the big Art Basel. However, there are around 15 to 20 satellite art fairs all throughout Miami. So you will find a number of them on the Miami Beach area and a number of them in downtown Miami, and then Wynwood area, and a few others spread everywhere in between. So you want to plan ahead too. You don't want to stay way too far out that you're going to spend a lot of money back and forth every day going to the fairs. What I recommend is either close in Miami Beach area, South Beach, closer to the Art Basel, closer to the Miami Convention Center near Art Basel is really a good location, and I have found Airbnbs there at really, really great prices when booking really early. Another option, you can stay in Wynwood area, which you'll probably find cheaper options than in the Miami Beach area. And what you can do in terms of transportation, going from Miami Beach area to downtown or Wynwood, you want to look at the free shuttle buses. There are free shuttle buses that take people from the major art fairs. For example, they will take you from Art Miami Context. They will have a bus, a little shuttle bus that will drive you to Art Basel Miami Beach area, to the Art Basel area, the convention center, back and forth all throughout every day. You just have to look at the schedule, see when they are going back and forth, and that'll save you a lot of money, that otherwise you would have to pay in Uber or taxi or public transportation, which is not the greatest, but it depends on what location you may be at. So, that can save you also a lot of money if you plan ahead, if you stay closer to some of these concentric areas where you have the biggest art fairs, so then you can take advantage of those shuttle buses. So that's how you can save money. Another big expense is food, right? Food is also a big expense, especially if you are in Miami Beach area. Well, all the restaurants along the Miami Beach corridor are expensive. And there are at all budgets. There are not some of them which are very reasonable. But if you really want to go for the really cheap stuff, which again, this episode is all about how to save money if you are on a tight budget, so you can still go and make it next year to Art Basel Miami. And you can tell me, Sergio, I enjoy your episode and I'm here because I took all your advice and I'm here on a tight budget and it's working great. So another place, for me particularly, I love Cuban food. So one place, when we stay in the Wynwood area, there's a place called Enriqueta's, which is a fabulous small cafeteria style. It's on the corner. You just look it up. I don't know the address. Just Google up Enriqueta's, and you get there, and breakfast, huge, fabulous breakfast, and the place is always packed. And that's a great place to have breakfast, to have a lunch, even to have dinner or things to go. And it's a place where I like to go every time I'm able, if I'm in the Wynwood area. Now, if you are in the Miami Beach area, well, there are a number of small places. You just have to look around. You just have to really ask the locals, ask the local people, where is a good cafeteria style place where you can go and save some money. Again, it depends on what you are looking for. That's what you will find. So, depends on what kind of food you like as well. When I go, I'm always looking for the Cuban places because I love those, and especially the small, tiny little cafeterias. I love those. You eat cheap, you eat well, and huge plates as well, which is really good. And that's why now I'm coming back home and I'm eating a little bit healthier now with my veggie plate. So, my friend, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Oh, and one last thing. As far as each art fair, of course, charges you. Of course, every art fair has a fee to get in. So it could be really expensive going through fair to fair because, it is everyone charge money. So what you want to do, if you're going to go to Art Basel Miami, what you want to do is maybe early on start sharing it in your social media and say, hey, friends, I'm going to Art Basel Miami Week. If you have passes, please let me know. I would really appreciate if you share a pass. Every artist who participates in an art fair, for a lot of times they get passes so that they can invite their friends. So it's very common that somebody can give you a pass, somebody can share a link where you can print a pass. But again, do it earlier so that is easier for you as well to do that. Sometimes, if artist gets a pass, and they can give the pass to somebody else. So we have done that as well when I was going on a tight budget, and that saves a lot of money because if you're visiting 8 fairs, 10 fairs, each one will charge you, I don't know, between $10, $15 so it could get really expensive. Art Basel is quite expensive. It's over $40, so it can get really pricey. So make sure you share it with your friends and say, hey, I'm doing this. Let me know if you have passes. So, my friends, hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope I see you next year at Art Basel Miami Week, and hopefully these tips will be helpful for you. All right, my friends, this is it for this particular episode. Thank you so much for listening. Please check out all the resources that we have available for you here in the Art Next Level. Just go to www.theartistnextlevel.com and check out everything that we have available for you there as well. Share this episode with a friend. And please, if you enjoy listening to the Artist Next Level podcast, go and give me a review on iTunes. I would really, really appreciate if you take one moment of your busy schedule and just give me a quick review on iTunes. Thank you so much, and I will see you at the next level.
Check out our website at www.theartistnextlevel.com, where you will find our podcast library, learn about our upcoming webinars, find resources relevant to your career, and much more. Thanks for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you at the next level.